Hi Reed, welcome to That's Football. Manchester United 4, Liverpool 3. And look, it's a bit of a tradition. I've been on the United stand, but I've come on here to do a reaction which is a bit more rounded. And people who say stop gloating, Goldbridge, I did it when Liverpool beat us as well. I put a video up on here. So I'm being consistent. I've got to say, what a game. What a game of football. I don't know what it was like for the neutral. I don't know what it was like for Liverpool fans. So get your comments in below. But I just felt that from when Anthony scored, it just wasn't about structure. It was just about who wanted it most. It was chaotic. United's system didn't make much sense. Neither did Liverpool's. And I actually thought that Liverpool would pick us off because they had a more balanced team. I mean, we had a front four. I mean, it was Eriksen, McTominay in the midfield. Maguire was the only centre-back we had on. We didn't have a left-back. And I thought that Liverpool would find a way. And I suppose that's why Jurgen Klopp sounded a bit disappointed afterwards. He said that the lads showed incredible character. You can't compare Liverpool's season to United's with the amount of games. So he's obviously talking about the volume of games because Manchester United haven't played for 8 days since Everton. And he raises a good point, to be fair to Klopp. They played on Sunday and then they played on Thursday as well. So a bigger volume of games. They're going into extra time. You can sort of see that, I suppose. But that's just disappointment. I think Liverpool will be disappointed for 2 big reasons. One, it's against Man United, their biggest rival. And 2, at 2-1, they were much more in control. I mean, look, the story of the game, for 42 minutes, United were probably better. Mistakes, Liverpool going 2-1 up, psychological advantage in the second half. But then in the second half, they dominated. They dominated the ball. United looked terrible for about half an hour in the second half. Couple of substitutions, didn't massively improve, and then Anthony sort of scored from nowhere, and then Liverpool are sort of looking at themselves going, how is this game 2-2? And then into extra time, it was just a bit of a free-for-all, and then they've lost it 4-3. So I think you can look back on that game and go, well, look, Liverpool should have done better. But as a United fan, I look back on it at half-time, and I think we should have gone in 1-0 up. I couldn't believe the mistakes that we made to allow it to be 2-1. I think ultimately it was just a great cup game, and Man United needed it. We needed it more than Liverpool. I mean, look, Liverpool are on this farewell tour with Klopp, but you're still in a league title race. You've got to come to Old Trafford in about 3 weeks' time, actually. That'll be a massive test. You've won the Carabao Cup. You're still in the Europa League. So it is a big blow for Liverpool, but it meant more for Manchester United. And obviously Coventry City in the FA Cup semi-final gives you a massive chance to get to the final. But my overarching thing is, I've spoken about how I felt United play to a massive extent on the United stand. My thoughts on Liverpool were that I just don't think they played well. I was watching it and I was worried. I was worried because we played well for 42 minutes. Then Liverpool are 2-1 up. And I'm like, I don't think even Liverpool played well in the first half. If they come out in the second half and start playing like they did against Man City and like I've seen them play for the last 3 months, we're in big trouble. And I don't think they ever did. I thought Liverpool today were off. And I don't know why. I'd love to know in the comments. Is it fatigue? Is it United sort of caught them out a little bit? I don't know. Because that was not. I watched Liverpool against a fantastic Man City side a week ago at Anfield for 45 minutes in the second half. Wiped their arse with them. Absolutely took them apart. And they should have won the game. And then they were nothing like that today. And I think you've got to give credit to Ten Hag and United for that, because they've got to have played some part in it, because Liverpool were almost unrecognisable. And you can't just sit there and go, oh, it's just one of those days, because it's Liverpool, Man United. You can't have an excuse of one of those days. So it was a little bit weird. I don't really understand why Liverpool weren't at it today. Maybe it is fatigue. Maybe it is tiredness. Maybe it's because it's a cup game. Maybe if it had been the Premier League, they'd have been a little bit different. I don't know. Maybe the priority thing is a thing. And it's not that they didn't play bad, but there wasn't the sort of chances I thought Liverpool would create, because there was a lot of space out there. We know how United play. There is a lot of space in the midfield, and Liverpool with that space. I mean, look, there was a few times actually, it was 2-1 in the second half, and they had a 5-2. It was Delo and Lindelof against 5 Liverpool players, and you think, well, if you score that, it's over. And I think that's what Klopp's talking about. You know, we could have been a little bit better on the ball. We could have been a bit more clinical. But yeah, they weren't at their best today, Liverpool. What does it mean for the rest of the season? They're still battling injuries. I mean, even at the end of the game, Klopp said that Diaz, Nunez and Gakpo picked up knocks in that game. So the international break could come at a good time for them, although I think that all three of those players probably go on international duty. It's a very intense Liverpool schedule. Taking the FA Cup out of it might not be the end of the world, because that would have been another Premier League game cancelled, wouldn't it? So I think it's a huge game for Liverpool to lose, but I think their bigger issue here is, can they win the Premier League? And their bigger issue is, can they get a team that's fit and able to play on the consistent over the next few weeks? Because I think Mo Salah doesn't look quite fit. I think Robertson's still coming back. They've got Trent to come back. They've got Alisson to come back. So the momentum will be there for them if they can pick it up. But look, it's a massive win for us, and I think Liverpool will move past it quite quickly. Having said that, one of the games they've got to move past it with is coming back to Old Trafford in a few weeks' time. And it's funny, I was speaking to, we did the podcast with Loz, didn't we? And he was saying that he'd probably prioritise getting the 3 points in the Premier League over today if he had to pick one. Whereas for us, United, I think we would want both, obviously, but I think the FA Cup might well be more important for us at this moment, because it's the only chance of us salvaging something from the season. But look, what a cup tie. What a cup tie. You don't get to see them very often. And the season that I've witnessed with Manchester United this season has been so horrible to watch, that to be able to take something from the season, and hopefully we can take something else, but to be able to take that away against our biggest rival, it's sort of where we are at the moment. I mean, I had a few people coming in the comments on the United stand saying, oh, you beat Liverpool, you know. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, we've had a shit season, I get that, but there's nothing wrong with celebrating beating Liverpool in a cup game like that. I mean, they are our biggest rival. We've not just beaten Wigan, like we've beaten Liverpool, and it's a big thing. It is a big thing for us. And we are miles off Liverpool, so it's massive for Manchester United. But for Liverpool, they're obviously going for prizes I wish Man United were going for, and hopefully we can do in the future. They will be stronger after the international break. It's another 2 weeks to get certain players back. I think they've got very winnable games between now and the end of the season. And Jurgen Klopp will be determined that this doesn't undermine them. But I think one thing I would take away from this weekend is that a lot of teams are struggling with European Cup Thursday night to the weekend. I mean, Liverpool played Thursday night and they sort of did struggle a little bit today. They didn't look as fresh or as sharp. They didn't look like their normal selves. And I think that becomes problematic. Does it get to a point where Klopp has to be very careful about derailing the Premier League title race because he's playing on a Thursday night? Because it does make a difference. It does. Get your comments in below. What do you think went wrong with Liverpool today? Or was it just brilliant Man United? Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.